Dershowitz Chauvin conviction should be reversed on appeal. Maxine Waters used KKK playbook to intimidate jury. If you haven't done yet, please subscribe our channel. Lawyer Alan Dershowitz, professor emeritus at Harvard Law School, slammed Representative Maxine Waters, DCA, during an interview following the guilty verdict against former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin on all counts. The irony of what Congresswoman Waters did. She borrowed the playbook of the Ku Klux Klan from the 1920s and 1930s. They would stand outside of courtrooms, and they would threaten violence, Dershowitz told Newsmax. This violates the separation of powers. It insults the integrity of the independent judiciary, and Congresswoman Waters ought to be ashamed of herself. What she did was disgraceful. Well, first, what was done to George Floyd by Officer Chauvin was inexcusable morally, but the verdict is very questionable, because of the outside influences of people like Al Sharpton and people like Maxine Waters. Their threats and intimidation and hanging the sword of Damocles over the jury and basically saying, if you don't convict on the murder charge and all the charges, the cities will burn, the country will be destroyed, seeped into the jury room because the judge made a terrible mistake by not sequestering the jury. So the judge himself said this case may be reversed on appeal. And I think it might be reversed on appeal. I think it should be reversed on appeal, he continued. I think the American Civil Liberties Union, which would be all over this case if it weren't a racially charged case, all Americans who care about due process and liberty should be concerned that the jury verdict may have been influenced by, if not the thumb, maybe even the elbow of the outside pressures, the fears, the threats. Every juror in that room knew about these threats. And when they sit and deliberate, they have to be saying to themselves, consciously or unconsciously, if I would render a verdict other than a murder verdict, what the consequences will be for me, my family, my friends, my business. That should never, ever, be allowed to seep into a jury room. So I have no real confidence that this verdict, which may be correct in some ways, but I have no confidence that this verdict was produced by due process and the rule of law rather than the influence of the crowd. The whole judicial system has been corrupted by identity politics and by the weaponization of the criminal justice system toward particular agendas.
Don't forget to subscribe 9plus International.